Welcome to Delightfully Dysfunctional, a podcast about navigating the emotions of the human condition and the challenges that come with it. I'm Kaylani Persian Mason, a psychotherapist and life coach with James Timmons, an ever-curious human. This is not a replacement for mental health therapy. Please seek out mental health care if that's what you're needing. This is an opportunity for self-healers to dive deep and understand more about themselves. I'm Kaylani, this is James, and you're listening to Delightfully Dysfunctional. Thank you so much for returning, and we are ready to kind of jump in. Today's episode is going to be about healing yourself before you can heal others, healing yourself and what that process looks like in order to improve the relationships around you.
Yeah.
I think, and I've been guilty of this, of feeling like this person needs to change this or that, or if only this person would realize this or that. And it's kind of misery making. I actually wanted to start today with a poem.
Okay.
I'm all about the poems these days, okay? Maybe even with two poems, to be honest. So the first poem is a young Pueblo. He's been one that I've been sharing a lot of. You do not need a partner to feel whole, and you do not need to have everything figured out to feel successful. You do not need to be fully healed to feel peace, and you do not need to be fully wise to feel happy. I picked that one specifically for you, James.
Oh, okay. Can you read it one more time,
Sure.
please? It
Yeah.
was short enough.
You do not need a partner to feel whole. You do not need to have everything figured out to feel successful. You do not to be fully healed to feel peace, and you do not need to feel fully wise to feel happy.
So you picked that for me.
I did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, I mentioned before we started recording that I had this new thought this morning, and that actually might fit with what you just gave me. So, yeah, in the shower, I sort of like, I'm calling it like a rebellion. Like I'm rebelling against my toxic thoughts. And because, yeah, circumstances in my life right now have been challenging. And I realize that my response to them is super negative because I'm still like wanting to project a certain image outwardly. So then my rebellious thought was, it felt like a fuck you to my inner thoughts, but I was saying thank you.
Yeah.
I was saying like all the bad moments, all the stuff, like the awful circumstances, thank you. Because like there's always lessons, there's always a silver lining. So thank you for them. Like I've created a lot of the bad circumstances by my choices in the past. So I'm choosing now to have gratitude for them because my thought was, yeah, at the end of my life, I'm not going to be like, I'm so glad I worried all that stuff.
All that wasted worry.
Yeah, man, all that energy, all that stress. I'm so glad I sat and really camped in it.
Yeah. Stewed in it.
Yeah, so it's like, if I can be thankful for everything, all the bad, then whatever comes, I'll just have that discipline of gratitude to where it doesn't matter. Like life will be like a fun game, you know?
I had a couple thoughts that came up as you were sharing, so thank you for inspiring them. But one was just like, as you walked into the house today, you, myself, and my childcare, Megan, we were all talking about parenting.
Yeah.
And parenting tiny humans. And I think that sometimes, you know, in parenting, when there's those meltdowns, those toddler meltdowns, and it's just they're feeling big emotions and they don't know how to like express them.
Yeah.
That's a little bit how some of those critical thoughts are feeling too. So there's a kindness that needs to be given, just like to the toddler having a meltdown, to try and soften and understand rather than shame or gaslight. And so I feel that thank you is that's a different shift.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it feels like a rebellion because it's like going against, and I like to be rebellious, you know, but yeah, because it goes against like the weird toxic culture that I've created internally, you know.
Oh, this feels so well with the original poem I had. I'm going to read more.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So this one is from the book Let Us Dance, poetry by Shalane Harkin.
Okay.
The God Who Made the Octopus. If you think the eccentric God who made the octopus is going to judge you for your sins, I'm afraid you've missed the mark. If you think this wild God that spins galaxies as a pastime cares to get fussy about your mistakes, or has ever made anything that wasn't born perfect and luminous, you might need to repent. If you can't yet admit how lovable and infinitely worthy the fullness of your human nature is, and if you think God wants to do anything but perpetually pour an abundance of love gifts upon you, well, my dear, your soul just might need to go to confession.
Yeah, that fits perfectly. Yeah, because like, so I have a friend who has been doing a lot of inner child healing, and she had like a breakthrough this morning actually, and she was sharing with me about how she had this vision of her inner child where like she visited the herself as a child, and the exercise was that she had to like invite the child with her away from like the house and the family and everything. And she tried it before, like months ago, and couldn't do it. It was just like too painful. She felt like she wasn't worthy of the kid to go with her. But then this morning, the kid ran to her and hugged her, and she said the visual that she had was that she, as a grown-up, was wearing all white, and the kid was dirty, and she didn't care that the kid was dirty.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's such a beautiful illustration, because
Right? Like the Voldemort baby. That's what it made me think of, right?
Yeah, and I was like, because all your shame...
Listen to last week's episode if you don't know about the Voldemort baby.
Like all your shame, all your dirtiness was okay.
Yeah.
You're choosing to love yourself, your whole self.
Your whole self.
And
And your
I think
whole self is messy and imperfectly beautiful.
Yeah, and I think it was Jay Shetty, this reel that he shared, where he says, like, when we think of love, we think of like expressing love and all this stuff, but really the best love is when somebody loves us so much that we learn to love ourselves. And so I was like, that is like, I think that was a breakthrough. Like, you know, you're believing in yourself, you're choosing to love yourself completely. Yeah, like the poem you shared, like, we're imperfect, we make mistakes, but we're not judged for them by the God of the universe who has full authority to, you know, but chooses not to, you know. I mean, you can, and then technically we have our judgment day, but that's after our death. But we won't get into that.
Well, we have different belief systems there, but I think that there's commonalities that we can find.
I'm saying, but in this lifetime, our story is not over.
No.
You know, so like if we choose to judge ourselves, or if other people choose to judge us before our story is over, that's early. That's too early. You know, nobody has the authority.
You know, there's that phrasing of like hell on earth creating a living hell. And I think that that's much more the reality than anything that we find after this lifetime. It is the perpetual hell of worrying, of not knowing your worth, of not doing the healing, of holding yourself hostage in that space. And it is bold and scary to step into the next phase of healing, but that's what living is. And if you're doing anything less than that, then I invite you to question your decisions and some of the conversations you have with yourself. Another thought that came to me and is just so tied in and organically coming up, I love when that happens, from pieces that you've shared, is, you know, we've been really disconnected with death in our society and in our culture. I feel really grateful that my neighbors where I grew up, my house was between two cemeteries. Like I shared the driveway with a cemetery entrance. Wow. And so I'd walk by it every day to school. I'd ride my horse in the cemetery. I'd have picnics in the cemetery. I enjoyed looking at gravestones because they told a story of someone's life.
Oh yeah.
Like, that would be like a hot date for me, and not in a creepy, it sounds creepy, but it's like, that was a whole, like as whole as you feel your life is, as whole as you feel the people that are in your life, like these other humans lived those whole lives too.
Yeah.
And they're not there. Like I don't even feel a tendency to want to visit the gravesite of my loved ones, because I feel that I can commune with them better from my heart wherever I'm at. Mm-hmm. But it was a reminder that I got to have in my childhood anyways, that life is not permanent, you know, and we all get those reminders naturally when the people that we love and care about pass, because that's an inevitable end for all of us.
Yeah.
And that's a pill that we like to avoid.
Yeah.
Because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when there's people who are sick in our lives or who are aging, I've saw this with my grandpa. You know, he was a very hard-edged man. I would not call him warm and fuzzy. I don't know that I thought or knew that he liked me even until it was kind of the last couple of years of his life. And then he was like wanting those hugs and wanting them to linger. And you could tell he was more appreciative of the beauty in life. And why wait until death is staring you in the face to invite an attitude of actually appreciating what's here?
Yeah. Well, I'm thankful that we have that insight at middle age. We're not,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I could die tomorrow, who knows, but hopefully I won't.
I'm going to hope not.
I'm in good health.
I'm going to hope not. I need a co-host, man.
So, okay, question for when you lived between two graveyards, was your street, was there a sign that said dead end?
No, I don't know actually, because it technically was a dead end.
Oh, that would have been great.
That would have been, yeah.
See, I've watched too much
cinematic genius there. Could have done some filming.
Yeah.
I did. There was like an assignment in like 10th grade. This must have been such a bullshit assignment to like film a horror movie, and so we had groups, and like we had to do a lot of it like outside of school time and meet up, and so we clearly chose my house because I was by the cemetery. There's also a trail that went like from my house in the woods to the cemetery, not that I made, it was over on that end of the property.
Oh dang.
And so like everyone brought like a bottle of ketchup for fake blood, and we were like running around filming this movie in the cemetery. I don't know, that's just a funny memory I haven't thought about in a long time.
That sounds very Blair Witch.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just ended up with a lot of messy ketchup everywhere.
Sounds like you guys need some French fries. Sorry, total rabbit trail. Blair Witch was the most terrifying movie I'd ever seen because I thought it was real when it came out, and I watched it in theaters. Yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, that sounds really scary. I'm surprised that like it didn't freak you out that you were between two graveyards.
I think there were probably moments that it did, but there, you know, you warm up to it.
Yeah,
and that's my life.
Dead
and
people
it is what
don't
it
do
is.
anything. So
yeah. Most of the time, they, you know, when the neighbors were quiet.
Yeah, but I've watched too much Poltergeist to like think that that nothing is going to happen. You know.
Yeah. I also had a friend who passed away when I was in high school in a car accident, and he was buried kind of at the entrance of the cemetery nearest to me.
Oh, wow.
So it became a special place to visit him, and it really changed, you know, shifted the way that I felt about it a lot. It became an opportunity to bring him flowers and to have a quiet moment.
Yeah, that's good. Like, because if somebody has like, you know, if your memory of them was like positive energy, and it's not gonna like, you're not gonna be haunted by their gravesite or anything. You know, most people go to grave sites, because they love the person. So it's almost,
there's more love than fear in the cemetery.
It's almost like a disrespect to just think that like a bunch of gravestones are like haunted. They're going to be. I know most people don't think
it's like the association that we've had and the fear that we've had around death in general. I don't even know if the podcast is still going on. For a while there, I really liked this podcast. I think it was called Ask a Mortician, and it was really about like death and burial practices, and it was incredibly interesting because, you know, it used to be there was so much about being human that was normalized within community, like that someone would pass away and like they'd be brought into the home for several days, and like, you know, it was something that you saw the realness of it, and it's been sterilized in a lot of ways in a way that it now feels, very foreign and detached and removed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things like that we could say to that, even like the feelings that we have about body image, like people in their naked bodies used to be around each other in one room, homes.
Yeah.
And so things were normalized and felt more natural. It means that the shame around it was eliminated, really, because it just is what it is.
Yeah.
And now we're so individualistic in our Western society and culture. And I think that it's done us some big disservices if we zoom out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking like my own personal experience with like death or witnessing, like a wake, when you go see like a viewing of somebody who just passed away, it's always like disturbing for me, but but it is a part of life. It's something, but also on the other side of the coin, I remember I read something like a couple years ago where because of all the horror movies and how graphic they are nowadays and video games and stuff, kids now have like witnessed more murder than like like a veteran in like Vietnam or something like that. Because I mean, it's not real death, but it's like it's so graphic and accurate.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting because I feel like playing with death is a normal thing, but yeah, with video games, it has taken it to a different level, and definitely with the 24-hour news cycle and the things that, like, honestly, yesterday, to be completely honest, in the middle of the day, I took a break and I was on my phone, and I need to do some things to edit what comes up on my feed, because there was one from BBC and it involved like children.
Oh no.
In like Israel, Palestine. And like it gutted me so deeply that like I took a moment and had to like sob.
Oh man.
And I like had to like text my childcare, my Megan, my nanny, and be like, please send me some pictures. Like I need some stat. And I had to like find some pictures of my kid. Cause I think that's something I want all of us to be aware of. We can be traumatized by what is shown on the news right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying not to stay informed, but I am saying to protect yourself.
Yeah.
That is not how we heal, and that is not how we heal others around us and help others around us or stay aligned for the families that you come home to. Mm-hmm. And that's, back to the topic at hand, like working on yourself in order to heal others. And with everyone returning back to their families with the holidays approaching, you're going to feel that, deep pull for, is so-and-so going to bring this up again? Are they going to, do this or that? And we should have healthy boundaries. I've talked a lot about healthy boundaries. We should also have an awareness of what we are not in control of and what we are in control of. So for a lot of those pieces, it's how do I understand what's going on through a different lens of that's their unhealed parts. It doesn't have to be a reflection that stabs me or hits me that way. That's a reflection of Uncle so-and-so's like lack of insight and unhealed parts. It doesn't have to feel like it's weaponized against me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting, because in the context of family, like there's a lot of, or some of my family members that I wish I could change, and because they don't really respect my boundaries. Mm-hmm. But I mean, what would you say? Would it be more appropriate for me to I know that they won't change, but it would be, I guess, more appropriate to sort of, because I feel like if I decide to like cut them out of my life or something, then that's almost judgmental, because I've concluded that they are a certain way and I'm not being compassionate. I don't know. Yeah. So
I'm going to try to answer the question without forcing you to share more details, because you're allowed your privacy. You don't have to like gut yourself for viewership. I think that there's a lot that you can do on your own to have increased self-awareness, emotional intelligence, communication skills, all of those things that can really help, more empathy. At the same time, if there is something about a person that no longer is healthy to your growth, then there are hard truths that you may need to sit with. And I've had to sit with those, and I will not lie that it was incredibly painful, and it was filled with a lot of grief that still hits, just like when the grief of a loved one, right? Like it comes in waves, in unexpected ways. But your personal growth and your ability to really be your best self is your ultimate task in this life.
Yeah. So then I guess a good buffer would be if somebody is like hindering to my own personal growth.
Yeah.
Okay, then that might be worth creating a lot of space away from them.
Right. So I think that there's nuance that can't be a direct answer that might fit everyone.
Yeah.
I think that it's a sitting with, okay, can I work on my self-care and feeling really good and strong within myself before I approach an interaction with this person?
Yeah.
Can I have more clarity in my boundaries or in my tone of voice? Because that communicates more than even the words that you say, is the tone.
Yeah.
Can I have more empathy for where they're coming from? I think I shared this once before. It was an actress playing a role, but she had really tried to understand this character. And this, it was a black woman, and this black woman who she was playing really disowned her son who came out as gay. And there was so much shame and anger and seemingly lack of care and love. And to try and get into that role, she had to realize that there was so much survival that was a part of the social landscape in the time period.
Yeah.
And even still. So to her, that felt, and she'd sacrificed so much for her child, like worked as hard as she could and everything that she could. It was for this boy.
Yeah.
And to her, it felt like you are throwing yourselves to the wolves and you are sacrificing all of the hard work that I did to help you survive, because now the world will chew you up. Because now I cannot protect you and you're not safe. And I feel so flooded with that all I can do is to try and unleash my anger upon you in hopes of that changing.
Yeah. But all that does is destroy the relationship. Yeah.
Destroys the relationship and feels so unloving and uncaring and unempathetic.
Yeah.
Right. But it was coming from this core place of love, as convoluted as that is. And that does not mean that I condone. I can share two viewpoints at the same time, right? That I don't condone it. I can also see that, that was coming from a place of love to the best of her abilities because of her unhealed places. So when I say that you need to heal yourself, I mean it. And that doesn't mean giving yourself, it doesn't mean, heal myself. That means treat yourself, go on a retreat and just gallivant. I kind of did that, but it was a training as well. It's not like, go to a resort. I'm saying it is hard work, but it's the best work.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's wherever you sit at the moment, every relationship you come with all your baggage. So it sounded like that mom in that scenario, all her baggage, but she had the best of intentions her whole life in raising her son. I'm assuming, right, son. And so, but to just react with an anger that is, just unfortunately a lack of understanding. Because if there's something that one of my kids comes to me that kind of goes against, I don't know, my values or something, I don't think I would condemn them. I think that I love them too much. I think I would just sit with them and say, help me understand,
Yeah.
And so, cause I have a friend who just recently came out of the closet, and their mom comes from a culture that is very anti-gay. And so, he didn't tell his mom, and I don't think he ever will, because she has said like to groups of people how she feels about homosexuality, and so so that's going to be a little difficult.
So for him, I think again, it's like all he can do is try to work on himself to understand that where mom's coming from is coming from her unhealed parts, and to decide if he can still have I don't even want to say positive, but still have a loving relationship with her despite that area that she hasn't been able to crack.
Yeah.
And sometimes the answer is no.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have loved ones, and the answer for me was no, or at least not at this time.
Yeah. So, I don't know, maybe from his perspective, the best thing to do is to still give her a chance to like have a response, knowing like very likely it's going to be really negative and traumatic, and it's going to like cause a rift. But there's also the chance that it might not. I mean,
well, I think there's a lot of parents that start in that place, and then, their love for their children also challenges them.
Yeah. Secrets. Because like if you keep it a secret, that always is guaranteed to cause a little bit of erosion and destruction with the relationship. So it's like if you can at least, like, the truth will set you free. So if you can at least try to present the truth rather than withhold the truth. I don't know. Now I'm just kind of giving unsolicited advice as a person, but
I think it's unique to each person. I would never want to like push someone to share before
True.
they're ready, because I think that they're like the step one is for him to be in a good place.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because now that you're saying that, like, I'm thinking about my own experience when like I confessed everything, and I was not in a place where I was ready to confess, and I wish that I could have waited. Well, I wish I could have just never done the things I did, but what you said is absolutely valid. So
yeah, but then I think the next step, when you get to like a place of honesty and like basically whatever outcome is, the limbo that you're living in isn't worth staying there.
Yeah.
So you'll either learn a lot more about this person and have to love them from a distance.
Yeah.
Or you might have, this lovely crack of an opportunity to actually connect with them, which would be really beautiful.
Yeah.
This is also why psychedelics are a lovely thing to help with that. Because we're talking about all these defenses we have, defenses our loved ones have, and we want to get to that mushy center.
Yeah.
Even the beefy football playing dude, like, he wants to get to the mushy center too.
Yeah.
And that's just a thing about being human. And it's silly to me. It is laughable and funny to me at times when I see how hard we try to repress that and act like we don't need it.
Yeah.
When it is such an important ingredient and it is universal. And we don't talk about it enough, so no one knows how universal it is. And we don't live in community enough, so we don't see it that way. We're so numbed and distracted. But we do. We need that community. It feels good. It feels different. It feels like a fire inside of me. It lights me up better than anything. It makes me like love pour out of my pores for myself and for others. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
Do you feel it? Does it feel magical when you get to actually connect with someone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And yet we're fearful and afraid.
Yeah. Well, for me, just it's not that I'm fearful and afraid. It's just that it's lacking because I don't really have much of a community. So,
I used to think that, and look how wrong I was.
What do you mean?
I used to think that I didn't have a community here.
Oh.
And I was so wrong. I have everything I need.
You know what's funny is when I dwell on like loneliness, people will surprise me, and I learned like the last, I don't know, few weeks that there are people that still like love me and care about me and like pursue and like try to like get me to like hang out, but I'm like so like fixated on the people that I wish were still in my life.
Fearful of rejection.
Yeah. And no, you're right, because I just I got to change my outlook, like another rebellion. You know?
Yeah. So maybe like I want to try and include like a thought-provoking kind of journal question to us and to our listeners. But what do you think then might be a self-limiting belief that you've been holding? And I view that even like I give a visual of an outdated prescription lens, you know, where it doesn't matter what reality looks like. You have distorted whatever is actually happening and digested something that isn't real, that you're unworthy, that you're unlovable, that you're destined to be lonely, whatever it is. What I want everyone to sit with, what that could be. And then when you identify it, you already are admitting that it's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just first thoughts, I'll just try to go for it, is I keep on believing like this toxic thought that I only have like I only have things to offer when like I'm in this perfect place, like financially and physically or whatever. But then I know that that's false, but it's like this deeply embedded belief. I don't know where it came from really, because I grew up poor, you know, and I was happy then. But I don't know, maybe it was because when I found success in like real estate, I was always trying to project my success so that it would like be attractional, so other customers would come along.
I think you've relied on ego for far too long, if I'm being really honest.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And so that's a false projection of yourself for others. That's not the true you.
Yeah.
And it's thickened your prescription lens.
Well, yeah, and what's funny is that there are people that will choose to like want to be in my life in my low points, and I'll think to myself like, no, you don't want to see me like this, like, and I'll like push them away. I'm like, no, like I'm gonna go isolate because I don't feel worthy of you in my life. So I'll come back to you when I feel like I have something to offer. But then they'll still kind of be like, no, you know, I won't say that, but that's like the subconscious acting out, and then. So then they're still there though. And I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, this is embarrassing for me, you know?
Yeah. You're speaking so much truth and so much healing to people right now, because that is such a common experience. Yeah. I've been guilty of that too.
Yeah.
Don't see me like this. This isn't my best self.
Yeah. Just like when I
go away.
Yeah, like when I like it's the equivalent of like putting makeup on. When somebody comes to you and says, "No, you're beautiful without the makeup," and it's like, "No, I'm not."
Yeah, no, I need my war paint.
Yeah, you don't have to agree
go out
with
there
me.
into the world.
Yeah, and that's the type of love. Oh gosh, because like then so that's me trying to learn to love myself, because it's like if I were, but I feel like I have made some strides recently where. I don't feel ashamed that I'm not perfect today, you know? And the thing is, the anxiety that comes along with like perfectionism like that, it's just never ending. Like, oh gosh, I can't present myself unless everything is perfect. Well, then I'll never reach a point of satisfaction because it'll never be perfect, you know? So it's like, if somebody chooses to love you in your mess, agree with them, just agree, you know? Yeah.
You know, I've even reflected on things that I've shared on the podcast in different phases. I'm a different person now than I was a month ago. I'm a different person now than I was 6 months ago and a year ago. And that's true for you and everyone else. Where I'm like, oh, I would have phrased this or that differently, and now that's out in the world. And I'm like, you know what? But my whole goal, I mean, my business name is called Evolve Counseling and Consulting. You know, like I'm in the business of evolving. And how do I extend love to all of those iterations of myself, past, present, and future? Like we're along on this journey. Here we go. And if someone is going to have issue with that, Like, I feel that if I could get to that mushy center, they'd understand we're far more alike than we are different.
Yeah. Yeah. Mushy center makes me think of a cinnamon roll. So thank you for that visual.
I wish we had some cinnamon rolls right now. Like, when someone does a cinnamon roll good, there's a lot of bad cinnamon rolls out there too, but like a good one.
I saw this meme that said, like, there's nothing that smells better than the person that you love. And somebody wrote, I don't know, if you walk by a Cinnabon.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, truth there. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Cinnabon is right up there.
Rub yourself in some like cinnamon and icing, and I'm in love.
Now, if the person you love smells like Cinnabon, then you've hit the jackpot.
Yeah, I'm happy for you then.
Should we go get a Cinnabon and a fork and a knife? Because that's the best way to eat those.
Yeah. Are we, is this like food therapy now? We're just, you're feeling strong emotions and you're drawn to the sugar.
Yes. Well, yesterday was Halloween. I binged.
Did you? Yeah. Good.
I was passing out candy, but it wasn't chocolate. It was like the fruity candy.
Okay, so yeah, I bought candy that I wasn't really into to try and like mitigate that.
Yeah.
But then there was a problem because this has never happened. I think there's just so many trunk or treats, but literally one group of kids came to our house last night. One. I was giving them handfuls.
I wonder if they could sense your lame candy.
You know what? They were really happy about my lame candy because I gave them handfuls of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty generous when I give out candy because I'm just happy to get rid of it. Because I'm like, if I don't get rid of this, I'm going to eat all of it.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a real problem.
Yeah, but yeah, by the way, Friday, we had this... Zach played a show.
Yeah.
And your group of friends.
My husband plays music around town, and we had a group of friends, and James was able to show up. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of our
very thought-provoking questions debates
was, do you either love or hate banana Laffy Taffies? And my answer is I think they're the best flavor. And that got a really triggering response from like the majority of the group.
Yeah, a lot of people strongly disagreed, including myself.
Yeah. I like banana runts. I like banana pudding.
Wow.
I like
banana pudding I could do, I think. Yeah. But I don't know why I don't. I like strawberry is my go-to. Yeah. Strawberry, anything. Is that universal, or are there people who hate strawberry?
Nobody hates strawberry.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, strawberry's good. But you know what? I don't know how you feel about this, but what do you think about banana baby food?
Well, I've never tried it. I'm assuming you have.
It's so good. It's the best one.
Is that what's stocking your cupboards is banana baby food?
I would feed my baby and then take a bite. And
one for daddy, one for baby.
It's the best. It's really good.
I had a friend in I don't know if we were in middle school or high school, but she disclosed that she liked baby food.
Like all of it?
She'd have, no, I think it was certain ones, like probably the banana, I think fruitier ones. I don't think she was getting down with the carrots and peas.
Some of those are disgusting.
I don't think she was all about that.
Yeah, mushy, smashed up cold ham.
I'm remembering this
with
now.
Sweet potatoes.
But she would get down with some baby food as a adult-ish person.
It's great though because you don't have to chew, you know?
Sure, have some yogurt, man.
True. But I mean, banana baby food. You can mix it in with yogurt.
I bet there's banana yogurt out there. Maybe you should give it a try.
You're probably not wrong.
Yeah. I gifted you this morning, first thing when you walked in, with a banana Laffy Taffy.
Yeah, and Zach disclosed that he had never had any Laffy Taffy.
Yeah, I'm going to have to really correct that for him. Yeah. But, he was a disadvantaged homeschooler, so he doesn't understand.
Well, but what is his dad joke game like, though?
Honestly, it's really on point. I don't know. It comes all natural without the Laffy Taffy, but this could really up his game.
I feel like this could be a match made in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
What if it ruins him? What if it makes him what if the two are not supposed to meet, like Back to the Future, when you can't see your past self, that type of stuff? So if we introduce him to Laffy Taffy,
his kryptonite is banana Laffy Taffy.
He's gonna have this major addiction, and you're gonna be you're gonna find empty wrappers under the bed. And it's what the hell is this?
What is this?
No, nothing. I learned it from you.
Well, then I'll make sure that he fully puts the blame on you.
Okay. I'll take it. He becomes a Laffy Taffy junkie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Funny. I will be coming out and I feel like I've probably said this before, but I'm actually have time carved out. I'm going to be putting out some different courses coming up. And actually I'd love people's feedback on like the types of like information that they might want in a course. I'll probably be doing one on relationships. I want to do one for like women who have high functioning anxiety and how they can cope in the world. And perhaps one on microdosing, perhaps one on psychedelics as well.
Okay.
But I'm open to feedback. Let me know. Let me know what sounds interesting to y'all.
Coursework?
Coursework, meaning online courses where people who might not be able to work with me one-on-one or who live outside of the area that I can practice as a therapist anyways, which is Washington State. As a coach, I'm able to practice worldwide, but it gives another option to still work with me, but in a different sense, and doing a course where there's recorded content and activities to help you in your growth, in your personal growth, to continue being a better self, a better mother, father, brother, sister, person in the world, human in the world, friend. I think that we need to have a better understanding of what that means, because that's what fully living is.
Yeah, it sounds exciting. I'm trying to think of if there's any courses that I want that to be tailor-made to me.
This is your tailor-made course.
Yeah. Good point.
Thank you so much for tuning in, Delightful Humans. Please like, subscribe, rate us wherever you can find our podcast. And don't forget to write in for some advice. You can find the link attached to the episode description. And we can't wait to continue learning and growing with you, continue evolving with you. So tune in next time, please. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.